Right, let's just get straight into it. Let's get straight to topic. Driver shortage. Now, what is the driver shortage? What's it all about? What's causing it? What needs to change? So to start with, the driver shortage, it's basically people are just leaving the industry and new drivers just don't want to come back to it, or new drivers don't want to join the industry. Now, what is it that really puts people off? So, to start with, it's initial outlay to get your HGV licence. To go from a car up to, let's say, to a class 1, you're looking at about £3,000 to £4,000 just to get your licence. Once you've got your licence, you'll go and apply for loads of jobs, 20, 30 jobs, and you'll get knocked back from a hell of a lot of them, if not all. Companies then want to employ you, they want you to be over the age of 25 for insurance reasons, and they want you to have 2 years experience, minimum 2 years experience. Now, at the end of the day, how are you meant to get 2 years experience if nobody will give you that first initial start to get the 2 years? And it's all well and good. I know people are now going to be commenting, well, just join the agency. Now, agency work, that's all well and good. Yeah, go and join an agency, get a bit of time behind the wheel. That's great. But what about job stability? At the end of the day, we all come to work because we've got bills to pay. We need to earn the money to pay our bills, to keep a roof over our head, to keep food on the table. Agency work, they might book you in for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But as soon as their work goes slack, the first person that's going to be out the door, unfortunately, will be you. Not you, the person that's working for the agency. I wasn't pointing, it's rude to point. So the person that's working for the agency, you're going to be the first person out the door. And if you've got bills to pay and stuff, that's no good. How good is that to you? If you've got a family, your kids, your wife, your partner, everything, it's all reliant on you earning a regular wage, week in, week out. The other thing that puts people off is the amount of money it can actually cost you to come to work every day as a HGV driver. You make one silly little mistake, or I'm talking about the fines, the sort of fines you can get out on the road. It can cost you thousands and thousands and thousands. Yes, I'll admit, not every time you get fined, it's not always, it's an accident, didn't mean for it. Sometimes it's just stupidity, like not strapping a whole load and then shooting the load, just firing it all over the fucking motorway. Yeah, you deserve the fine. But there are some things, like some companies you might work for, they might not be the best at vehicle maintenance. You'll be surprised, you really will be surprised just how many companies are out there that are running literally borderline legal for vehicle maintenance, for a lot of things, but certainly vehicle maintenance from my experience. And you're the one that's in charge of that vehicle. You're the one that's going to get put in front of the traffic commissioner when something goes wrong. The company aren't going to back you at all. All the company are going to say is, well, he's a professional driver, he's got the CPC, he should know better. Which brings me on to my next point, is the driver CPC. Now, for those of you that know, just know. For those of you that don't, a CPC, or driver's CPC, is basically you have to do 35 hours every 5 years in a classroom. Although at the minute it can be done online through Zoom calls, but it's literally 35 hours of just listening to, I'd like to say, a load of rubbish. There's certain aspects of it that are really good and really interesting. You do get a lot of information from them. But I do feel that the CPC needs to change. It needs to be, the CPC, there's no pass or fail. You literally, as long as you turn up 5 days a week, or 5 days in a row, then you get your certificate at the end of it, and well done, happy days, you've now got your CPC. Now, the way I see it, it should be something that's testable, pass or fail, and it should be a lot more informational. There was a time, I don't know if it still stands, but you could literally get your driver's CPC by sitting the same course 5 times. So you could go and do a health and safety or a first aid, for instance. You can go and learn about how to give CPR and that sort of stuff, and how to bandage a wound. 5 times, 35 hours listening to that, watching videos. That's your driver's CPC. The driver's CPC is what they say shows you're a confident professional, whatever it is. First aid, that makes you a professional driver? I don't think so. So what else is putting people off? Now, like I said, it's money, it's wages. That's what we come to work for. We come to work for the wages. Now, you would think after spending £3,000-4,000 on training, you would think you're going to be on some serious money, wouldn't you? Not the case. Not the case at all. Now, a container driver, they do max hours pretty much every single day. They're working 13 to 15 hour days, driving for between 8 and 10 hours every single day of the week. Now they're on between £9.50 and I'd say £10.50, £10.75 an hour. It's not a bad wage, but I wouldn't say it's a mega wage. Not at all. £10.50 for a professional driver. You literally got people's lives in your own right in your hands. 44-ton truck driving through the middle of London with motorcyclists and pedestrians just cutting in front of you, coming up from all angles. You're the one that's got to look after them. They're not going to look out for themselves. You've got to keep them protected from being run over and killed. For £10.50 an hour. Crazy. Right, I'm going to give you a little break. I'm probably boring you, but I just find it a really interesting subject. I'm going to go and get loaded. 40-foot container. We're going to take it down to Rochester. We've already been there first thing this morning. But yeah, we're going to go back for another trip. I'll take you in with me anyway. I'll get back to you in a bit and we'll finish this conversation. Speak to you in a bit. Right, so back to this driver shortage then. We've covered a few points already. Now, one of the major, and it's always discussed within the industry, is the way that drivers are treated. Now, I'm not just talking about by the companies that you're working for, your employers. I'm talking facilities to start with. Let's start with facilities. Now, regardless of whether you're a day driver, a night driver, a tramper, it doesn't really matter. Wherever you go, I say wherever you go, a lot of places you go to, you're looked down on massively. You're an inconvenience. You can just never do right. You get a booking time,
You head there for your booking time. You get held up in traffic. Things go wrong. Things happen out on the road. Or you might be the way that the job's planned, that you physically cannot get to the site on time. So you turn up at the gatehouse and they say you're half hour late. Sorry, drive. Can't accept you. You'll have to come back tomorrow. Oh, great. That could mean a really short day of like 9 hours, 10 hours maybe. Certainly if you're a tramper, you're now parking up for the night on a short day. You've earned next to no money. You've now got to just night out and just stay with the truck, stay with the load for the rest of the day, rest of the night, to tip the next day, which might not open until 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, which means you've got a later start the next day. So you're either working very late into the night, the following night, sort of 10, 11 o'clock maybe, or you're having another short day. Again, you're not earning on short days. A short day is no good to nobody, certainly as a tramper. Facilities is a massive one. That's I think I can speak for everybody here. Motorway services, truck stops, not everyone, there are some really nice truck stops out there. Crew truck stop, rugby truck stop, not a bad one. The Formula 1 truck stop up north, that's a very nice one. Not been there, but I know a lot of people that have been there, and yeah, that's stunning. Amongst a few others are very nice, but yeah, so you park in a motorway services at night for the night, if you can find a space. I mean, if you're any later than 5, 6 o'clock at night, you've got next to no hope. I mean, it's not even worth trying really, but you pay nigh on £40 for the privilege of parking in, well, packed in like sardines on a little bit of concrete that's, quite frankly, absolutely stinks, and you've got no load security, you've got no, I'd like to say personal safety, but it makes me sound a bit of a wet wipe, but at the end of the day, you should be safe. I mean, they wouldn't think twice of gassing you, which they do by spraying stuff straight up the exhaust for the night heater or through the air vents, whatever. Yeah, they'll gas you just so they can break into your lorry or your load, nick your fuel, whatever they're fancying that particular day. Fuel theft is right. Everybody knows there's certain places in this country you do not park in laybys, because you can guarantee you're going to wake up in the morning to absolutely no diesel whatsoever. They're not nice people. They don't just take a couple of 20, 30 litres and leave your loads left in your tank. They'll literally wipe you out completely, and then you've got the hassle in the morning of you haven't got enough to get you to the next petrol station to then fill up to go and get some more to top up. Let's talk about the extended driving hours at the minute. So at the minute, for the next 4 weeks or 3 weeks, depending on when you're watching this, you can now drive where you used to be able to do 9-hour drives every day, but extend to 10 hours twice a week. You can now drive 10 hours every day, but you can extend to 11 twice a week. 11 hours driving. Now they say that this is because of the driver shortage. This is their answer to it. Their answer is, well, okay, we've got a shortage of drivers, but we've got a few out on the road. They're driving tired, I know. You know, their chances of an accident are already massive anyway. Let's make them drive for an extra hour. Let's make our already tired drivers even more tired. Let's pile more pressure on the current drivers to just do a bit more. Just squeeze that little bit more out of them. Now, I don't know about you, but if you was looking at changing career and coming into truck driving, let's put it this way. If you was sold a job that sounds something like, so you become a HGV driver, pay £4,000, get paid £10 an hour,
you'll be working about 70 hours a week-ish. You'll be driving for 10, 11 hours a day. Between shifts, yeah, you'll do a 15-hour day, and then you'll take 9 hours off. If that means you've got to travel home in that time, so be it. So 9 hours, it could be an hour each way. So you've now got 7 hours between. You've got to have dinner, a bath, unwind in that time, let your dinner go down, because who wants to go to bed on just after they've eaten? That's not good for nobody. It's just, would you want to take a job on knowing that that's what you're getting yourself into? And if something goes wrong, or you work for a company that's not great with maintenance or whatever, it can cost you thousands of pounds. Somehow I don't think so. It certainly wouldn't be for me. I don't think if it was sold to me like that, I don't know that I'd have come into the game personally. You're not going to have anywhere to park. In fact, I did see a post, which if I've managed to find it, I'll insert it now for you. Just read through this. This is how a truck driver's life is. This is how if it was like that for an office worker, this is how a job advert would look for them for a job in an office. Just have a quick read through that. Tell me, who really fancies that job after reading that? Absolutely nobody. Nobody whatsoever. Right, the next bit I want to talk about is health and safety. The health and safety issue with these new extended working hours. Now, truck driving isn't just about driving a lorry to a destination, putting your feet up, reading a book, scrolling through the internet, and that's it. I mean, take my job for instance, and I'm not saying I'm the only one. I know there's plenty of different people out there, different jobs, different aspects of HGV driving that Scania, yeah man, that do a lot of other work. I mean, obviously today I'm in the flatbed, I haven't got the hiab, but I still spend a lot of time, certainly when I'm on the hiab, I spend a lot of time out the cab as well as in the cab doing other work, climbing up and down containers, up and down ladders, putting chains on, lifting containers. I mean, when you think you're operating that sort of machinery, that you're swinging 4, 5, 6 ton of container off the end of a hook that's attached to a lorry that you could quite easily, if you're not concentrating, you could quite easily topple a hiab lorry could quite easily fall over if you're not careful, if you're not, fully concentrated on what you're doing. Swinging a container around near buildings and over the top of garden fences and garages, cut people's cars, whatever you may be doing. So we're now going to make drivers even more tired, which means obviously you're going to be less concentrating, whatever the word is, truck driver, not an English teacher. So we've now got people that are more tired, got more pressure on them to get more work done because there's less drivers out there to cover the work. So of course we've got to cover that, do our job plus a little bit more to cover. And operating heavy machinery that quite frankly is a killing machine. No two ways about it, it's a killing machine. I mean, you hit someone with a car, you're going to seriously hurt someone. No two ways about it, you're going to seriously hurt them. You hit someone with a lorry, you're killing them. It's going to kill them. And the government are okay with this. It's their idea. That's their plan. Their plan is to let's just run them even more ragged, more of a danger out on the road. absolutely ridiculous. The mind boggles. I really don't get where they're coming from. They say that by extending the driving hours, it's actually it'll increase the workload by 15%. 15%. I don't know about you, but an extra hour of driving every day, I actually can't see it getting an extra load done every day. I mean, an hour, how far are you actually going to get in an hour? Certainly if you live down in the southeast like I do, so close to London or the M25, an hour is not going to get you very far at all. Maybe a couple of junctions if you're lucky. Is it going to make a difference to your working week? Not really. It just means you're that little bit closer for the next day. Or you're going to start a little bit later the next day because you now don't need to make that extra bit of journey. At the end of the day, if your load is booked in for 10 o'clock, you're getting there for 10, aren't you? So by running an extra hour the night before doesn't mean that you can now going to tip at 9 o'clock rather than 10. You're still going to be tipping at 10. So what's the point? So who gains from this? The company. The driver gains nothing at all. Yeah, by working the extra hour, driving the extra hour, you're I mean, the chances are you're still going to have a bit of, or you might have, depending on how you work or what your job role is, but you might still have work time available. Certainly if you're doing a Scotland run or whatever, yeah, a run from South East up to Scotland, your drive time is up way before your working time. So you're now going to drive an extra hour. So, and if you're on a day rate, you're on a day rate, so you drive for 10 hours maybe, or 9 hours, you get paid your day's money, £140, £160, whatever you may be. If you're on more than that, then you're doing all right. But you can now drive for 11 hours, but you still got your same work time left, pretty much, just an hour less. You're still getting paid the same money. Where's the incentive? Why would you want to? Yeah, of course I will. Yeah, boss, no worries, I'll do the extra hour for you. Are you not paying me any extra? Nah, that's fine, mate, not a problem at all. I can drive another hour for you. Don't think so. I really don't think so. Not at all. What about these people that are driving low loaders? Oversized loads. High, heavy, wide, long, overweight. I say overweight, you know, over 44 tonne. STGO. The concentration to drive long loads or oversized loads, overweight loads, is colossal. And yeah, they want you to now do a bit more. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I think they're approaching this totally the wrong way. I think all it's actually going to do is push more people out of the industry. It's certainly not going to bring more people in, and the people that are already in are just sick of the way that you get treated out on the road and what the jobs become. And yeah, people are just going to give up completely. I know for a fact this particular company I work for, or my area, there's companies about at the minute that are offering like 18, we say between 16 and 22 pound an hour. There's some are paying less, some are paying a bit more, but I mean, there's drivers at my place that are already thinking, well, hold on, they're paying a little bit more money than where we currently are. Oh, perhaps we'll move on. People have started looking about. I dare say nobody will leave. If they do, they do. Companies have got to realise that things are changing. Drivers need to be paid what they deserved. What they deserve. More money. We deserve a bit more money than we're getting. It's as simple as that. And unless they do that, nothing's ever going to change. Nothing will change at all. Right, so we're nearly at our delivery point. Literally, what, 2 mile-ish? About 4 minutes and we'll be there. Yeah, as I said before, we have already been in here once today. We've actually got 3 trips out of First Containers, which is literally 2 or 3 minutes from my yard.
Yeah, down to here, 6 containers in total. Although our paperwork says we're meant to be double stacking the containers, but we're actually not. We're putting them all 1, 2, 3. You'll see in a second anyway. But they're going end on, door facing each other, basically to block all the entrances. They're going to put side doors in, like pedestrian doors. So that'd be pretty cool. I'll give you a little view of the place we're getting. Or originally, one of our drivers, Paul, that's coming in with us today, he's been in this place before, and it was an absolute nightmare for him to get in and out of. When he see it came up last night, we was looking at the paperwork, and he said, well, this place is a nightmare. It's so narrow in there to get in and out of. It's ridiculous. It's going to be a terrible day. I was like, oh, great, nice one. Just what we want. 3 trips coming into a tight little yard. But yeah, as luck would have it, we're going into a different entrance, different part of the yard, and this bit's got loads and loads and loads of room. I'll give you a little aerial shot of the place now. I don't know what it looks like on that image. Obviously, I've borrowed the image. Probably doesn't look quite like that anymore, but hey ho, you'll see it in a second. Kent is very hilly, extremely hilly. I don't know if you can see them houses that side of the road. Just look at some of their driveways go up a steep hill, some go right down a big dip. So I don't know if you just see that. Don't know if you just see that lorry driver, skip driver. He was flashing me and basically telling me to slow down. There was a police speed cam. Can't speak. There was a speed camera van parked in the lay-by, and he was just warning me. It's a 40 down here, and I was doing. You probably can see on my sat nav the speed I was doing, or on the dash. I don't know. I was doing 31, 32, so I was below anyway. But yeah, it's good to see that there is still people out there, or still drivers out there that still look out for you. That was a massive thing back in the day. I'm told. My dad being an old school truck driver, he tells me, I don't know what stories to believe and what not to believe, to be honest, but apparently drivers used to carry around a nut and a bolt, and they used to hold it up in the windscreen, and because the ministry, as we know it now, VOSA, or DVSA, yeah, VOSA, yeah, they were called the ministry, but drivers used to call them the nut and bolt men. So they used to hold up a nut and bolt to another driver just to pre-warn them that they are tugging drivers further ahead. Yeah, and similar to what he just done, he was flashing me, telling me to keep my speed down. Yeah, decent, right, nice. Right, this is the entrance I thought we was going in. Well, we did go in originally and then backed back out, because this is actually where we want to be. It's this little turn in here that's quite tight. Watch it, I actually bumped the curb. One little shunt, take a little bit off. A little bit of a left. Yeah, it just cuts the corner of that a little bit. It doesn't matter. Right, we need to get ourselves turned. Oh, they've put that right in the way. Right, let's get ourselves turned around then.
I don't know where to be. I think I'll park that side.